Hey guys, how you doing today? Getting this video up pretty late, but one a day, gotta do it. Um, Seeing a lot on social media and going around, people are confused about why Doug Ford is acting the way that he is acting. And this general confusion is leading people into fun and odd sort of places. Um, People are calling for his resignation. People are rightly pointing out that his reach for increased police powers is an act of fascism, which, I mean, big surprise, Doug Ford's a fascist. Um, but there's like this general sense of confusion about like, well, why isn't he just like, what's the holdup with these sick days? Like, why is there this inability or unwillingness to do even the most basic thing. Like Justin Trudeau offers aid and Doug Ford turns it down, right? Like these sorts of things. And it is because uh, Doug Ford is not interested in saving people. Doug Ford is not interested in helping people, right? That's been very obvious since day one, right? Like he enacted a brutal regime of austerity against the poor, right? It's basically his first act as premier was to lower the minimum wage, was to cut funding to increase people's access to education and healthcare, right? Like if you are uh, if you are in the bottom 30% of the society, like nothing, none of this is a surprise, right? Like what I am seeing is I'm seeing those sort of like middle class people who like liberals, right? Like those middle class sort of people coming to grips with the reality of what societal abandonment looks like, and that Doug Ford is not interested in helping people. He's not interested in saving people's lives. He's interested in maintaining capitalism. That's what he's interested in doing. He's interested in maintaining a system that enriches him and his friends while they do no work and we do all the work for them. That's the system that he is trying to maintain. That system is under incredible threat right now, right? It's under a massive amount of threat at the moment. If you are confronted with a system that is saying, okay, everyone needs to, like this virus is saying, everyone needs to stay home, right? Everyone needs to stay home. We need to isolate. Okay, like how do you achieve that as a society? Well, the simplest way of doing it would be to mandate that everybody stays home and we will deliver food to you, right? And if we need manpower to be able to do that, we'll ensure that that manpower is itself isolated and is itself protected. And don't worry about rent. Don't worry about the property tax. Don't worry about any of that, right? These sort of capitalist modeled systems, right, that demand that you pay while the people who benefit do no work, offer no value, and are essentially parasites in the society. But you can't do that if your objective is to save that system, right? If your objective is, as Doug Ford's objective is to save the system of capital, is to save a system that is enriching people who do no work and offer no value to the society, then you can't do things like pass sick days, right? You can't just pay people to stay home through like some kind of basic income scheme. Like you can't do those things because if you do those things that are completely rational, that make all of the sense in the world, especially during a pandemic, right? If you actually embark on a journey of getting homeless people off the streets and getting them into the empty houses that exist, there are 5 empty houses for every homeless person. We could solve this problem in a day. It would take no time at all. The But if you do those things, right, then suddenly you're going to have a populace that goes, wait a minute, we could have done this the whole time? We could have done this the whole time? Why are we even paying attention to capitalists? Why are we even listening to them? Why are we even negotiating with them? Why are we spending even a moment tolerating their presence while they do nothing, provide no value whatsoever? They don't even make decisions. They pay people to make those decisions for them, right? While they gallivant and do whatever it is they think is appropriate, right? If you're one of these people that dart out of these videos around this time, please like, please share, please subscribe. We need more leftist voices. We need more people on the left speaking out against these right-wing lunatics who have taken power. And the thing that's terrifying for me is that, and the thing that I keep bringing up is that 1 out of every 3 people in Ontario support this, right? Like, this is where we start, and I take a lot of heat for saying this, but I'm going to say this until the day I die, right? We are marching towards a death cult, right? Like, the right wing in our country is marching us towards a death cult configuration. They are obviously willing to sacrifice our lives in order to maintain this system that enriches them while they do nothing, right? They are obviously willing to deny things like climate change. They are obviously willing to prop up systems that effectively destroy our society and destroy our lives. And they're doing so while completely denying and ignoring the experts and the evidence that is in front of us, right? And that's true of climate change, but it's also true of COVID-19, right? The Ford administration doesn't care what the evidence is. They don't give a crap at all. They're not paying attention to data. They don't care about any of that. They care about maintaining a system that is giving them millions and millions of dollars for no reason whatsoever. That's what they care about. They care about, like, the Ford administration cares about creating meaningless construction projects that benefit no one and create worthless worthless highways that no one will ever use, so that they can just funnel millions, if not billions of dollars away from the public into their own private coffers, which they ship offshore so they can't be taxed, right? This is what the Doug Ford administration cares about, right? And he's not going to resign. Like, that to me is like this weird little childish sort of like, yeah, he should resign. He's not going to resign, right? He's getting millions and millions of dollars for nothing. Why would he resign from that, right? Like, he's stealing millions of dollars from long-term care homes, which he's going to privatize and create systems to benefit from the misery and exploitation of the elderly, just like Mike Harris did, right? He's not suddenly going to resign. Like, what are you talking about? That's nonsense. No, what we actually have to look, and we don't even need to confront Doug Ford, right? Doug Ford is obviously a death cultist, if not a sociopath, right? He doesn't care about human life. He doesn't care about that. He cares about money for himself. If he cared about human life, he would have done something about this COVID-19 thing, right? But he doesn't. He doesn't care about that. He cares about maintaining a system that enriches him for doing nothing, right? He got into power because he wanted to be the premier. He just wanted to be the big boy, right? He wanted to be the big shot, right? That's it. There's no big mystery here. There's no big narrative, right? Like, he's an arrogant, out of touch sociopath who is completely willing to have people die if it means that he gets to keep getting money for himself. It's very straightforward. It's very obvious, and it's overt. But like, if you were paying attention at all to Doug Ford or the Fords in general, you knew this, right? This isn't news to you, right? If you were paying attention to Doug Ford. What's concerning to me is that 1 in 3 Ontarians support him. That's where it gets very concerning for me. That every third person you meet believes that we should destroy the civil society. We should ignore evidence. We should ignore facts. We should ignore the existence of a pandemic. We should turn down help from the federal government. We should definitely not help the homeless. We should definitely not help people who are in precarious work conditions, right? We should definitely continue erecting a system that forces us to sell ourselves to a market dominated by billionaires, while those billionaires do absolutely nothing of value. And in fact, what they do is a net negative on our society, without a doubt, right? And 1 in 3 Ontarians support this. That's where my concern lies, right? That there is this, like, we have elected sociopaths in the past, right? Like, that's nothing new, right? And in fact, the people who attempt to jump up and seize power are often have these kinds of uh, uh, sort of mental proclivities, right? Like it's the path for power uh, is very appealing to people who want to dominate and control and manipulate and destroy others, right? Like it's a very appealing place to find yourself, right? Very rare to find somebody who goes on that path who genuinely actually wants to help anybody, right? Like they're there for themselves and they want money and power and prestige for themselves. That's what they're doing. They're like if you get a leader who's actually genuinely interested in helping people, well, that's very lucky. And you must actually have like a very well educated and well an ethically defined populace who's actually finding these people to put up in the first place. We don't. Obviously, one in three Ontarians support the Conservative government, right? 30% support the Conservative government. That's a major problem. Like this is a major societal problem that we're facing. That there is a grouping of people in our society that not only are willing to elect a sociopath, but once this sociopath actually effectively murders people and effectively puts in policies that are going to lead to people's deaths and are going to lead to major, major problems for large sections of the populace, they still support him, right? Like, we could have an understanding that, like, okay, you voted for him, but now, like, come on, like, you can't still support him. And if somebody was like, yeah, I voted for Ford, but now, like, oh yeah, I can't support this. Like, this is too much. But people still do, right? You call them, they're like, yeah, I vote Ford all the way, right? You can talk to them. And it really just comes down to, like, fuck you, I got mine. That's really what it comes down to. Like, they're living in their big house, they've got all the fancy cars, they worked their, lawyer, engineer, whatever kind of job that they worked, right? And they don't care if you die. And it's a tough pill to swallow that 1 in 3 Canadians, 1 in 3 Ontarians literally do not care about one another. Like, literally don't. And, like, if you're listening to this and you think I'm being hyperbolic or you think I'm, like, being too mean or crass, right? Like, if you think it's cruel to call these people death cultists, well, then they should stop acting exactly like death cultists, right? I'm done. I'm done being nice to these people. Like, they are erecting systems that are murdering people. I just saw today a doctor talking to CBC News about how these decisions are leading to deaths, right? And the Ford administration doesn't care, right? If it did, it would actually do something. It would do the most meager thing. It would do the most meager of things. It would pass sick days, right? That's something they could do with it, like literally write a sentence on a piece of paper and pass it through the legislature. They could do it. It would take 5 minutes, right? But they're not interested in that. They're interested in salvaging and saving a system of capital which rewards them for being worthless parasites. That's what they're interested in doing. And if you're trying to tell me anything else, then you're wrong. You're just wrong. Okay, this is the end of this video, guys. We are in the middle of some extraordinary nonsense, and so you are doing wonderfully in the middle of it. I promise you, you are. I know that things are bleak. I know things are difficult. I know things are hard. I know many of us are forced into a position where we have to leave the house and go work in the middle of this pandemic instead of actually having a government that supports us. And in fact, having a government that's actively attempting to destroy us, right? Like, it's very difficult to maintain a positive countenance in the midst of this abandonment. But you're doing a wonderful job. I know you are. Believe in yourself. These guys spend billions of dollars to gaslight you so they can convince you to keep working for them while they do absolutely nothing. Good luck. We're going to need it.